Most chicken Parmesan fails before it ever hits the pan.
Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoy this lesson.
I'll show you the method that keeps the chicken crisp, light, and balanced. Once you understand this, the rest of the dish takes care of itself. This works with any sauce, any cheese. Technique is what matters. I always prep my vegetables first to avoid any cross-contamination when I start working with the chicken. I clean up the chicken breast before I cut into cutlets. I like to bias cut the chicken before pounding out lightly with my hand. We're going to bread our chicken in panko breadcrumbs, seasoned with oregano, thyme, basil, a bit of garlic, salt, and black pepper. We're going to first dip the chicken in vegetable oil very lightly, and then into the breadcrumbs. And that's the simplest breading you can get. It stays on nice and light, crispy, and you can do this the day before, and the breadcrumbs will stay fine. You could also sear the chicken and then finish it the next day if you want to as well. For this method, I pan fry the chicken in vegetable oil. You just need about a 1/4 inch in the pan, and you want to do it about a medium heat. So this oil is probably about 275 to 200 degrees on the chicken end, and then I lower the temperature down to about 4 or 5. You don't want to rush this process. You want to pan fry the chicken slowly so that it tenderizes. Make sure you're not moving the chicken around until the crust is set, otherwise you can make the breading fall off. You want to cook the chicken on both sides until it's nice and golden brown. You can do this process several hours or even several days ahead of time, and then finish the chicken in the oven when you're ready to serve it. Taking your time and really slow frying this chicken will make all the difference in the way it eats in the end. You can rush and sear it faster, but it won't be as tender. Ensure you drain the grease well when you remove the chicken from the pan. While the chicken finishes cooking, I'm going to start to put my sauce together. For the lesson today, I decided to do a play on an arrabbiata sauce. So I start by sauteing Fresno and banana peppers together with red onions and chicken fat. This is in no way classical, but delicious nonetheless. Keep one side and let the open side get hot. Here I add a touch more chicken fat and add in the garlic to brown it. With everything getting close, it's time to cook the pasta. Today we're going to be cooking vermicelli. Remember to salt your water. I put the chicken cutlets in the oven at about 325 degrees and allow them to finish cooking. With the garlic and vegetables caramelized, it's time to add our tomato sauce. I'm using my house tomato sauce here, but any sauce you love will work. I'll drop the exact sauce recipe in this week's chef's notes. I add a splash of pasta water here to thin the sauce slightly. To cook our broccoli, I simply throw it in with our pasta as it finishes. For the cheese, I took a mozzarella and provolone blend, and then I grated pecorino romano and Parmesan Reggiano into it. I generously top the chicken with it and then put it under the broiler to melt. It's time to plate it up. First the vermicelli, and then we'll garnish it with the broccoli florets. Top it with our sauce. And it's time to add the chicken cutlets. By plating the chicken very last and not putting any sauce on top of the chicken, we protect the chicken from moisture until the very last moment before we serve it, allowing us to serve the chicken as crispy as possible. Torn fresh basil for garnish at the end. This is one of the dishes I love to do for large family functions because it's very easy to do ahead of time and it pleases a lot of people.
No, so good. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to always cook with love.